Hey guys, Mr. GP here, and today I'm going to be talking about Orion and the discussions and controversies going on around the coaster coming to Kings Island in the operating season of 2020. What I mean when I say like the controversies and discussions is there's been a lot of talk about whether or not Orion is a Giga coaster, and if it is, what more could have been done. I'm going to give my kind of 2 cents about this, and warning, I don't know a lot about coasters at all. So a lot of this talk is going to be very GP. I still have not become an enthusiast in terms of knowing all of my terms. So that's kind of what this channel is for, is about me growing. So because it's going to be when I use the wrong terminology, feel free to correct me so I actually learn something. Besides that, let's get into it. So Orion is classified as a B&M hypercoaster coming to Kings Island this season. It has a height, I believe, of 287 feet, which puts it in the hyper category. But the drop itself is 300 feet, which, if you're going off the drop, makes it a Giga coaster. So what is it? And it is kind of a gray area because when Millennium Force came out, both the height and the drop, correct me if I'm wrong, were both 300 feet or over. So it's kind of hard to pin down what a Giga coaster is, because we don't know if they were going off the height or off the drop. So, in my opinion, I think Orion is a solid Giga. It's straight up Giga. The height is disappointing, and we'll get into that later. But the drop itself, that's what you're really classifying a coaster drop off of, is the drop. And because the drop is on a lower elevated ground than where the lift hill starts, that's why the drop is larger than the height. And I think that if you're falling down 300 feet, that classifies it as a Giga. So now that I have kind of put out my thoughts on it being a Giga, I'm going to talk about what could have been done to maybe help Cedar Fair out and kind of avoid all of this controversy. I definitely think that it's a very disappointing Giga. If we're going off of that, it is a Giga. I think it's very disappointing. I was watching the announcement. I was watching the live stream. And I remember thinking, man, I really hope we get a Giga. But it would really suck if we didn't, because the entire crowd is chanting Giga, Giga, Giga. So if there's no Giga, I have no idea what the crowd is going to do, if they're going to boo, if they're going to riot, if Kings Island is going to catch on fire. So I was very disappointed in the community at that point. But when the announcement that it was Giga came and they showed the trailer, I was still kind of let down. I was expecting something big and grand. You know, there's not a Giga coaster taller than 325 feet. And why is that? I don't know. That whole like 325 to like 420 foot range, I think, has no coasters in it. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of a weird range to just not make coasters. So I think Orion could have been Cedar Fair's flagship Giga, honestly. And I think it could have been so much more to go 30 feet higher. I'm not asking for 70 feet higher. I'm not asking for 80 feet higher. Just 30 feet higher. You know, Orion 330. Why not, right? And the layout itself has a little to be desired, you know. I like the pseudo wave turn at the beginning. I'm not sure what that's called. And it does look like the Camelback Hill doesn't have a trim on it, which hopefully that's a thing. There's no trim, and that'd be super great because that'd give a ton of floater if it doesn't. But we'll have to see. I kind of like the twisty part at the end. Like I said, I don't know my terms. Sorry. But it kind of just seems like B&M decided to opt for Diamondback but bigger. And there's a meme that I put on the screen that showcases that perfectly. But it just kind of feels uninspired and a basic B&M Giga. Which, now that they're on their third Giga, I believe, that can kind of become a stereotype. You know, if you look at the side-by-sides for Fury and Leviathan and Orion, they're all different, obviously, but very similar layouts. They're all very different from, you know, I-305 and Millennium Force. whereas I-305 focuses on a lot of forces, and Millennium Force just kind of the historic coaster. The B&M Gigas focus a lot on floater. That's not a bad thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think they could have done more. If they wanted to go that route, they could have done a lot more. But yeah, that's kind of my opinions on Kings Island's new Orion B&M Giga Coaster coming to the park this season. And the reason I'm making a video about this is because it's my home park, and I have a few opinions about it that I don't think have been clearly discussed, or they've kind of been sub-points to other coaster enthusiast channels. So I wanted to kind of hone in on those, and I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't my home park, because I wouldn't really have cared that much, but this is something that's really dear and near to me. So that's why I made this. If you guys have any opinions of your own or completely disagree, let me know, and I will 100% respond to you because I have nothing better to do. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.